Past 120. Okay. Past 120. There are also other people that live past 120. Um, the simple answer is that the general person will not live past 120. Some people will have merits to live beyond. That's the general thing. There is some midrashim that talk about why and who and when and so on, like why Avraham Avinu, why even his father. His father lived 205 years. He wasn't exactly the biggest tzaddik in the world. He was an idol worshiper for most of his life. Terach, before he did tshuva. And we know that Terach did tshuva and he has a share of the world to come because there's a verse in the Torah that says Terach, Terach. It says his name twice. And Chazal tell us that any time a name is mentioned twice in a row in the Torah, that means that person has Olam Haba. It's like there's rules in the Torah. This is one of the rules. Anytime there's the same name twice, that means that particular person has Olam Haba. So it explains certain things where, for example, you don't have the story of Terach doing tshuva in the written Torah. You have it in the oral Torah. So this is where Chazal learned that story, in essence. Next. Go ahead.
I'm just very curious. We see that Avraham Avinu was very involved in being the part of Eden, especially in next week's portion. Now he was being the part of anybody.
Okay.
All right. So I would say, obviously, everybody else was pretty much an idol worshiper or the equivalent of a god.
Okay.
But today we don't follow that example, even though that example is in the third. We don't go around the time saying, "Hey, come on in, sit down, give me a meal, and start talking to them about that." I don't see any halacha or anything like that that would encourage people to approach God.
Yep.
Even I don't know, maybe Lubavitchers on the Sheva Mitzvahs, but I mean, we don't generally follow this kind of.
Chazal did. Chazal did. We don't. We're making the mistake. Chazal did. If you look in the Gemara, they celebrated the goyim. Anytime a goy would come to them and want to convert, they would celebrate them. There's several stories of some of the most extraordinary Jews that ever lived were converts. And there's several stories of, for example, there's Elisha, the Navi, and Gehazi, his servant, lost his Olam Haba because he got in the way of a conversion. The king wanted to convert after seeing Elisha's miracle, and Gehazi ruined it, and he lost his Olam Haba. So even though the king became a righteous Noahide, said, no, it's not good enough. He could have been a Jew. Could have been a Jew. In today's world, they're discouraging it, but that's wrong. That's not what Chazal taught us. Chazal actually taught us that we should encourage people to become Jews. As a matter of fact, there's several dugmaot, there's several examples in the Torah, in the Gemara, that talk about how they would welcome non-Jews. They actually had special treatment for non-Jews that wanted to look for the truth. And unfortunately, today it's very different. The biggest reason for that is how much persecution the Jewish people have gotten. That's one of the biggest reasons, that we're like a beat-up kid. You beat up kid, after they beat you up so many times, you don't want to play with them anymore. You just want to leave you alone, and But the reality of it is that we're not leaving them alone. Because if we were really leaving them alone, we would have our world, they would have their world. Okay, then you're right. Then you have an excuse there. But the reality is we're not leaving them alone, because when it comes to business, we associate with the Goyim all the time. When it comes to different hobbies and sports and things like that, we associate with them all the time. So how come we don't bring them closer to Judaism? So you're 100% right. We are supposed to be a light to the nations, and we're not doing it. And that's actually one of the things that I try to do, and a couple of other rabbis are trying to do it. There's a big Noahide movement that's started by a few Chabad rabbis. There's a couple of other rabbis that are trying to encourage people to convert to Judaism, myself included, and help them convert. I'm more interested in getting people to convert to Judaism than helping them become righteous Noahides, because I think it's much more beneficial for everyone, for the world to have more righteous Jews. But the general mentality is exactly like you're saying, which is leave us alone, we'll leave you alone. We're not encouraging anyone to convert. We're not missionizing. And if you tell people that you're going to go out there and try to get people to know the truth, they look at you like you have 5 heads. They look at you like, what do you mean? You're not missionizing, are you? Like as if there's something wrong with it. In reality, we are supposed to do that. In reality, we are supposed to go out there door to door and tell people, listen, we have the Torah. You want to be a Jew? Good. You want to be a Noahide? Good. Either way, do something. We are supposed to do it, but unfortunately, in the world we live in, we're predominantly in a world full of idol worship. So if we do that, we'd have a lot of problems. So what we're trying to do is stay quiet in some regards. The other issue is the fact that there's a very, very big problem within our own people. Meaning, so many of us, Jews, are not keeping. 80% of Am Yisrael do not even keep Shabbat. 80% of Am Yisrael don't say Shema Yisrael. So the vast majority of Am Yisrael do not keep mitzvot. So when you tell many big rabbis, why don't you go out there and recruit some goyim? It's much easier to get a goy to become a righteous Jew than it is to get a wicked Jew to become righteous. Much easier. You tell them, listen, once I fix my own people, I'll go out there. That's the mentality. In general, based on halacha, it's right. Meaning you have to take care of the Jew before you take care of the goy, but you can't ignore the goy. So that's the part that we're missing. We are supposed to, if a goy comes to you and he asks you for help, he asks you for answers, you have to give it to him.
The Syrian community doesn't accept even kosher.
I know. We talked about them before. I actually made a video about how certain communities are anti-converts. And there's the video actually, there was a clip, about a 10-minute clip or so, that we made here about maybe 2-3 months ago, about a couple of stories of righteous converts that are students of mine that went to mikvehs and were kicked out. In one of those places, both communities that reject converts. And we actually publicized these stories, and Baruch Hashem, these stories have actually reached the top. I just got a call right after the holiday. Right after the holiday from a Beit Din that I'm familiar with, trying to find out the details, because the video apparently got to them, and they said this can't be. If a community doesn't want to help someone convert, that's their right. They don't want to help them convert. If you want to help somebody convert, you don't have to be an expert in everything. Just like if you're a rabbi, even if you have the, let's say the smicha for several different things, you don't have to practice everything. So if you don't want to help people convert, that's your right. But to reject a righteous convert, it's 100% isur from the Torah. It's 100% a violation from the Torah, at least 36 different sins. At least 36 different sins of being made when you are going against a righteous convert, to such an extent that we showed that the Rambam himself actually says, when the Torah says that Hashem loves the convert, what is he trying to teach us? What is he trying to teach us? He's not trying to teach us that you're supposed to just love the convert just like you love a regular Jew, because that would just be the same. Hashem is telling us 36 different times that he has special treatment for the converts. He's not repeating the same law 36 times. What is he saying, the Rambam says? Rambam says that you are supposed to love a convert more than a natural-born Jew, and to the extent of how much you love God. That's how much you're supposed to love a convert. That's an alacha. It's not a, chumrah, or you should, or you'll be a chassid if you do it. No. It's mamash alacha. You're supposed to love a convert as much as you love God. That's what the Rambam says. So, when a community not only doesn't love a convert, but rejects them, embarrasses them, kicks them out of the community, kicks them out of a mikveh, kicks them out of a shul, puts a sign in the front of the shul, we're not, no converts allowed, and does things like that, this is a place that you shouldn't even pray in. Forget about be part of the community. You shouldn't even pray into such a place, because that place is full. The leader, at the very least, the leader is a big sinner. Maybe the entire kehillah doesn't agree with it, but whoever put that sign, allows that sign to be there, which is the leader. He's always blamed. You have to blame the leader. He allows the sign to be there. He's 100% a sinner because you're not allowed to go against the convert after he converted. You don't want to help him before he converted. That's your business. You don't have to. You don't have to help everybody. It's fine. You should, but you don't have to. But to reject them, you're rejecting someone that's 100% Jewish, even more so than you. Even more so than you, that you have this, your mother and your father, and even if you come from David HaMelech. So that's a big problem that's being made today, is that we've taken some of the things that Chazal told us, and some of these Chachamim lived in recent generations. They told us they want to, protect us. They made a takana. In certain communities, they made a takana where there was a lot of people within the community that were intermarrying, and they were encouraging non-Jewish people to convert for the wrong reasons, not because they were really Jewish. So the Rabbanim made a law. They said, listen, we don't know who's real, we don't know who's not real. We're making a takana, we're making a law that we're not accepting converts as of for now. They never said we're rejecting converts. They said we're not going to convert converts ourselves. So you know that if you're going to try to convert your non-Jewish girlfriend or boyfriend, not here. It's not going to be welcomed here. That's fine. That's the takana. They added a law to the law. They took it and they put poop on it. They ruined it. So that's the problem that we have today. When we take things into our own words and we start ruining things.
I think there's a Gemara somewhere that says that one of the reasons we aren't invoked is because of the ger.
100%. It's in the Gemara. It's also in the Zohar Kadosh. Hashem says that in Sefer Dvarim that part of the punishment is that He's going to send us to the four corners of the world. So Chazal asks, what's good out of Hashem sending us to the four corners of the world? Because Kol De'avid Rachamana, Tav De'avid. Rabbi Akiva told us in Masechet Brachot, page 63, that everything that Hashem does must be for the good. Must be. There has to be good in it. So what could possibly be good out of Hashem spreading us thin? When you have few people, but at least they're in one community, at least we feel strong. But you spread the few people into four corners of the world, we're small little communities, minyan here, minyan there. You put us all in one place, we feel stronger. Now we're in four corners. What could be good out of that? So the Zohar Kadosh and Chazal and the Gemara also says that the main reason, the real reason, why Hashem sent us to the four corners of the world is that at the end of times, the Gemara Masechet Avodah Zarah, page 3a at the end and the beginning of 4a, 3b at the end and the beginning of 4a, says that at the end of times there's going to be a lot of gerim. There's going to be a lot of converts. A lot of converts that Hashem promised them when there was Matan Torah 3,300 years ago. They wanted to convert. They wanted to be Jews, but their people, their nation didn't want. So He says, I promise you, because you wanted, I'm going to bring you back in a generation where you're going to have an unusual circumstance, an unusual life, an unusual desire to be Jewish. You're going to have an opportunity to convert. When is it going to happen? End of times. What's happening now? Exactly that. We're seeing more converts. You could ask any Bedin all over the world that deals with conversions. There are more conversions now than any other time in history. An extraordinary amount of conversions. I deal with it on a daily basis. It's unbelievable. So as a matter of fact, this is exactly a nevuah that's coming true as we speak. It's a prophecy that's coming true as we speak, that Hashem is fulfilling the promise that He made to the Gerim and what He said in the Torah, that He's going to send us to the four corners of the world for the good of helping us spread the world, to help us convert people. Because if we were all in Israel, and there was a bunch of converts in America, a bunch of converts in Africa, a bunch of converts in different places around the world, we wouldn't be able to help them. But because we're in America, because we're in Australia, because we're in pretty much every corner in the world, you can find some Jew. We're able to actually convert people. So anyone that goes against such a thing is not only going against the prophecy of the end of times, but is going against Hashem Himself. And this is just pure foolishness. Yeah.
Is it possible, because I learned when I was a little kid, I learned that maybe they have to discourage a boy, because to see if he is actually sincere.
Yeah.
So you tell him, but I still learned that it is a halacha that you don't just say, yeah, sure, come on over.
So Shulchan Aruch and Halachot Gerim, the first three halachot talk about how conversions used to work. First three halachot, I mean, there's obviously many halachot of Gerim, but in the first three you'll see how conversions used to work. Conversions in the old days used to be done in 1 day. 1 day. Not 3 years, not 10 years, not 5 years. 1 day. A guy comes to the sages, and you see several stories in the Gemara. The Goyim, there's 3 stories in Gemara Masechet Shabbat, and there's several other places in the Torah where you see the converts, or Goyim, coming to the sages and saying, I want to be Jewish. And there's a few famous stories with Bet Shammai, Bet Hillel, Shammai and Hillel. They 3 different Goyim came to Shammai. They told him, one guy said, I want to learn the entire Torah on 1 foot. Shammai didn't have patience for such people. He thought he was making a joke of the whole thing. He kicked him out. He said, go find yourself a new friend. So he went to Hillel. Hillel had the ultimate amount of patience. Anytime you talk about patience in the Torah, you talk about Hillel. Hillel says, okay, no problem. And Baruch Hashem, he converted them. And there's 3 different stories of 3 different Gerim that they converted. And actually all 3 of these Gerim end up getting together. And they all become righteous Jews. Now, the Shulchan Aruch says that when someone comes to you and says, I want to be a Jew, you're supposed to discourage them, but not like they discourage them today. Today, the people think that it's halacha, that you have to say, no, we're not going to help you, and close the door in their face. And you're supposed to do that 3 times. This is 100% false. That's not the halacha. It became somewhat of a min'ag in some places, but it's not halacha, and it's actually not even recommended. It's not even recommended. What the halacha actually says, you're supposed to discourage them in a way where you explain to them how hard it is. Meaning, the Shulchan Aruch says, you have to tell them, listen, we are the persecuted people. Pogrom was just a few hundred years ago. They killed millions of us. You know that, right? Yes. Nazi Germany, they killed 6 million of us. 6 million Jews. They killed a bunch of other people too, but 6 million of us. You know that, right? Yes. You know that last week you drove a Shabbat, no problem. You can drive whatever you want. If you drive next week, if you convert now, you drive next week on Shabbat, Sanhedrin sees you, they witnesses everything, death penalty. They kill you. There's no 3 strikes and you're out. You can't drive on Shabbat anymore. You know that. I know. Last week you ate chelev. It's okay. Now you eat death penalty. Yeah. You show him some of these things that are hard mitzvot. He says yes, on the spot. This is all interview on the spot. Guy came right now. He says yes, they convert him on the spot. That's what Shulchan Aruch says. Convert him on the spot. The only machloket, the only debate, is whether they convert him on the spot, meaning in a sense where it's completed the same day or it's completed after he does Brit Milah. Because usually the Goyim in previous days didn't have Brit Milah. So Brit Milah, you have to heal. Usually it takes about a month to heal. So the only debate is, do they wait for his Brit, they do a Brit Milah that same day, and they wait for it to heal, and then he goes into the mikveh. So that's 30 days difference. Could be a little less, but it could be 30-day difference. So is the conversion finished after the mikveh, or is it finished that same day? Because he did Brit Milah. That's the debate. Either way, if it's a woman, converts same day. Bottom line is, it's not like it is today. The original halacha is not like it is today. The reason why is because there have been many fake converts that have ruined it for everyone. There have been many fake converts in different communities that converted for money, converted for different reasons, that have ruined it for everyone. Plus, the birth of Reform and Conservative Judaism that have completely ruined Judaism within Judaism. So the rabbis have decided, the wise rabbis have decided to make sure that when someone is converting, they're actually ready to be a Jew, not just for today, but just for every day, forever. And therefore, they need to make sure that they have a life. They're changing their life. They're acclimating to the life. It's not just knowledge that you can learn over a couple of months. It's also a lifestyle change. Modesty for women, modesty for men, learning Torah for men and women every day, eating kosher every day, not just in the house, but also outside of the house, because Hashem is inside the house and outside the house. Being a kosher person, and so on and so forth. Actually living a kosher life. And if you're already in a relationship, then obviously you have to make major changes, meaning you can't be together for that time. Now, everyone knows, everyone's realistic, and everyone knows that they can't know what's going to happen outside of the office. Meaning, you could come tell the rabbi, yeah, we separate, but the rabbi's not an idiot. He knows you go home and you're probably going to be with your girlfriend anyway. So at the very least, the real person will try not to at least be intimate. Not to be intimate for the time of the conversion. Obviously, it all depends on Yirat Shamayim. If Hashem sees you're sincere, He'll make enough miracles to make your conversion happen very quickly. If Hashem sees that you're not ready, for whatever reason or another, it could take 10 years. So I tell people all the time that when it comes to conversion, there's really no timing. With me, what I do, I bring them to the Beit Din, or I'm the sponsoring rabbi, and so on and so forth. But I tell them there's no timing. There's no time. The timing depends on you. How sincere you are. How serious you are about conversion. Meaning, if you're going to study everything I tell you you're going to study, and you study it seriously, you attend all the shiurim, you watch all the shiurim if you can't attend because you live far away, you are serious about Torah, you make all the necessary life changes, you move to a Jewish community, you watch what you eat, you watch your behavior, and so on and so forth. You make all the necessary changes, both the behavioral part as well as the studying part, what you learn. The conversion can take less than a year if you're ultra serious. If you're not serious, 1,000 years will not be enough. 1,000 years will not be enough. And the reason why is because when it comes to converts, as much as I love them, as much as I want to help them, I want to help converts, not fakers. So by the time we arrive at the Beit Din, they have to be more religious than any Jew in America. They have to be more religious than any Jew in Israel. They have to be the most religious people in the world. I'm not bringing somebody that's still doubting whether J.C. Penney is a Mashiach. I'm not bringing somebody to the Beit Din if they're still doubting whether they want to keep Shabbat or not. Or they're doubting whether the skirt should be covering the knee or it should cover more. So I'm not bringing people that still have doubts. If they have doubts, you're not ready. So that's the simple rule that I have. There's no money, there's no nothing. There's money you have to pay the Beit Din, not me. But the point is that when it comes to converts, you have to do everything you can to help them, because in essence, you're helping Am Yisrael grow. You're helping a prophecy come true, and you're helping the Mashiach come. You're bringing the Mashiach. So when we reject converts, we're doing the opposite. All of the things I just mentioned, you're doing the opposite. Your Mashiach stays further. Everything is the opposite. So, and actually, I'll give you guys a chidush that I just learned yesterday, a sipur, a story I heard about Rav Ovadia. It's really extraordinary. It talks about the end of times, and then we'll start with the Mishnah. Any other questions, or should I just start? Go ahead.
The question